Imagine you wake up one morning and cash simply doesn't exist anymore. No notes in your wallet, no coins in the car, just one government issued app on your phone, and every payment you make runs through it. At first, it feels convenient. Until one day you go to buy something and it simply says, transaction declined, not authorized. Not because you don't have money, because the system decided that you're not allowed to spend your money that way. That's the fear a lot of people have around CBDCs, or central bank digital currencies. And it's what we're going to unpack today. We're going to look at what CBDCs actually are in simple human language, why governments and central banks are so eager to bring them in, how programmable money could affect freedom in your everyday life, and what we can start doing now to stay as free as possible in a world that's rushing towards fully digital money. This isn't about panic, it's about awareness and sovereignty. Let's strip this right back. A CBDC is simply a digital currency issued directly by a central bank. We already have digital money on our banking cards, on our apps, but that's mostly commercial bank money. Your salary goes into a bank. The bank owes you that money. The central bank sits behind the scenes. With a CBDC, you could have an account or a wallet directly with a central bank. No middleman. On paper, that sounds efficient and modern. So why are people calling it a threat to freedom? Because CBDCs aren't just about numbers on a screen. They are about data and control. Digital cash issued by a central bank can be tracked, every transaction, every time. It can be potentially censored, certain payments blocked. And in some designs, it can be fully programmable, with rules attached to how, where, and when you can spend your money. Think of your current bank card. Then imagine that level of visibility moved up a level, into the hands of the state, built into the money itself. A lot of official language around CBDCs sounds harmless, even positive. Central banks talk about innovation, financial inclusion, faster, cheaper payments, maintaining monetary sovereignty in a digital age. Some of that may be even true. But we have to ask, what else does this infrastructure allow? When every transaction is potentially visible to the central bank, you get unprecedented financial surveillance, the ability to freeze or limit accounts with the touch of a button, and over time the power to nudge or force people's behavior through money rules. For a system that already relies on people being a bit scared of money, a bit desperate, CBDCs are like upgrading from a basic fence to a smart prison with cameras and automatic locks. From their perspective, it's very tidy. Less cash means less anonymity. More data means better control over tax, welfare, and sanctions. Programmability means they can respond to crises by steering how we all spend. From a freedom perspective, that's a lot of trust to place in whoever runs the system. Not just now, but in 10, 20, 30 years. Let's make this concrete. Programmable money means rules embedded in the currency itself. Imagine your monthly carbon allowance is linked to your CBDC wallet. Once you buy a certain amount of fuel or meat, further purchases simply fail. Imagine a government decides to stimulate the economy by making some of your money expire if you don't spend it within 3 months. Saving becomes disobedience. Imagine certain shops, organizations, or individuals are flagged as risky. Your wallet quietly refuses to pay them. You still have money, you just don't fully control it. And this doesn't have to be rolled out as a dystopian nightmare overnight. It can come step by step. First, it's optional, just a pilot. Second, it's only for people without bank accounts, to help inclusion. Third, it's only for government benefits, to make sure they're spent correctly. Fourth, it's just to prevent crime and misinformation. Fifth, if you've got nothing to hide, you've got nothing to fear. By the time people wake up, cash has faded away, other options have shrunk, and CBDC is simply how money works now. Now I can almost hear the objection. Isn't this just paranoia? Aren't CBDs just the next step after apps and cards? And it's true. CBDCs could be designed with strict privacy protections, limits on surveillance, or laws that prevent individual account censorship. They could. The question is, will they? We already live in a world where bank accounts are frozen for political reasons. People are debanked for legal but unpopular opinions, and payment processors quietly refuse services to certain causes. And that's with a relatively clunky, somewhat centralized system. If we give that same culture a centralized, programmable money tool, we're not paranoid to pause and think. This is not about panicking. It's about understanding that technology is never neutral. It always reflects the values and temptations of the people that control it. Okay, so what do we actually do with all of this? We can't stop the entire financial system from changing, but we can make choices that protect our personal freedom as much as possible. First, stay conscious of cash. Use it where you can. Teach your kids how it works. If we all sleepwalk into a world where nobody uses cash anyway, it becomes very easy to argue that we don't need it at all. Second, diversify. That might mean not keeping all your savings in one bank or one country, considering other stores of value outside of pure bank digits, and building skills and assets that are useful in the real world, not just on a balance sheet. I'm not giving financial advice. We're talking about reducing dependency on any single system. Now, for those of you who are looking to diversify beyond traditional bank accounts, one option that's been around for thousands of years is physical precious metals. If you're curious how things like gold and silver might fit into a broader, more sovereign approach to money, we've partnered up with Birch Gold Group. They specialize in helping people understand and acquire physical gold, silver, platinum, and palladium with educational resources and transparent pricing, so you can decide for yourself if it makes sense for your situation. But only if you live in the US. There's a link in the description where you can learn more. And beyond that, building skills and assets that are useful in the real world is just as important. Food production, practical trades and crafts, strong tools, quality clothing, insulation, firewood. Those things don't care what the central bank is doing this week. Third, build local resilience. CBDCs are about centralization. The antidote is decentralization in your own lives. Strong relationships with neighbors, local food networks, markets and skills, swapping, bartering and helping each other. The more of your life that runs on real human connection, the less power a distant system has over you. And finally, protect your inner freedom. The most dangerous part of any control system isn't the tech. It's the fear. If they can make us so scared of losing access to money that we'll accept any condition, any rule, any restriction, then the battle is already lost. But if we can say, we need less than you think, we can simplify, we can grow, mend, share, and adapt, then suddenly we're much harder to control. I'm not making this video to scare you. I'm making it because no one guards your freedom for you. CBDCs might come dressed as convenience and progress, but hidden inside is a very old question. Who really owns your life if someone else decides how you're allowed to spend your own money? Don't trade real freedom for digital comfort. Let me know in the comments what's happening with CBDCs where you live. Are there pilots happening already? Are people talking about it? Please like, share and subscribe. And remember, you have more power than you think. The key is recognizing the cage before the door clicks shut.